Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we take a sledgehammer to corporate jargon and see what is really going on inside. Today we are looking at Admiral Financial Corp and their latest 10Q report. Now this one is a bit unusual, so buckle up. If you like these deep dives into company filings and want to stay ahead of the curve, make sure you are subscribed and join our Discord community linked in the description below. So you are looking at a Form 10Q. Think of this as a quarterly check-in for publicly traded companies. It tells us what has been happening with the company financially over the last 3 months. This report is from Admiral Financial Corp, and right off the bat, things look a little different here. This isn't your typical report filled with dazzling revenue numbers or explosive growth. Instead, Admiral identifies itself as an inactive corporation. The company management is actively looking to recapitalize the company. What does that mean? It means they are trying to find a way to get new money or a new business to merge with. They want to get back into business, probably by acquiring or investing in interest-earning assets and real estate. Basically, they are looking for a fresh start. Right now, Admiral is not doing much beyond trying to find this recapitalization. They are searching for a business with growth potential to combine with. They are essentially a company in waiting, hoping to find a new purpose. Here is a really interesting point. None of the officers or directors are getting paid by Admiral, and there are no plans to pay them anytime soon. This suggests a lean operation driven by the hope of a future business combination. Now let's peek at their financial statements, but fair warning, these numbers are going to reflect their inactive status. This is the balance sheet. It is like a snapshot of what the company owns and what it owes on a specific date. All these numbers are in thousands of dollars. Here we see figures for the end of December 2025, and here for the 30th of June 2025. Total assets for Admiral are listed as 0 for both periods, and total liabilities are very small, just $24,000 in both periods. This next part is called shareholders' deficit. This happens when a company owes more than it owns. They have common stock with a very small par value per S-share, and they have issued over 10 million shares. Then there is additional paid in capital, which is basically extra money investors put in above the stock's par value. That sits at $681,000. The deficit, which is the negative equity, is a substantial $716,000. So, their total stockholders' equity is a negative $24,000, meaning they are technically worth less than nothing right now. This is the statement of operations. It shows the company's revenues and expenses over a period. For the 3 months ending the 31st of December, 2025, and for the 6 months ending the 31st of December, 2025. Interest income is 0. Total income is 0. Employee compensation is 0. Total expense is 0. And the net loss is 0 across the board for both periods shown. Loss per S-share is also 0. This all aligns with their stated inactive status. This table breaks down the changes in stockholders' equity over time, looking at the 30th of June 2025 and comparing it to the 31st of December 2025. You can see the common stock amount and additional paid-in capital remain unchanged. The net loss is listed as 0, and there are no dividends paid, so no changes in their equity position. Now, for the cash flow statement, this shows how cash moved in and out of the company for the 6 months ending the 31st of December, 2025 and 2024. The net loss is again 0, and all the adjustments to reconcile this net loss to cash flow from operations are also 0. This means net cash provided or used by operating activities is 0. The net change in cash is 0. Cash at the beginning of the period was 0, and cash at the end of the period is 0. This really emphasizes their current inactive state. The notes to the financial statements provide extra details. Note 1 explains they are using standard accounting. Note 2 talks about their subsidiary, Haven Federal Savings and Loan Association. It mentions that the net assets and liabilities of Haven are presented in aggregate, and its losses are also shown in aggregate on the statements of operations. However, since the company is inactive, these figures are not presently meaningful. This section is management's discussion and analysis. It is where management explains what is happening. Under General, Admiral reiterates that it is an inactive corporation and that management is actively seeking to recapitalize the company. They are looking for a merger or acquisition with a business that has growth potential. They expect minimal future operating costs until this recapitalization happens. They don't expect any new money coming in before they manage to pull off this recapitalization. They also include a forward-looking statement that basically warns that achieving future goals depends on many things. Things like getting capital, finding good businesses to buy, successfully running those businesses, and managing costs. It is a standard disclaimer for companies looking to do big things. Under liquidity and capital resources, Admiral states it is inactive and management wants to find a new line of business. They believe a restructuring might be necessary to raise capital for new operations, and that could significantly dilute existing shareholders. They have no known ongoing commitments or obligations. When comparing the 3 months ended the 31st of December of 2025 and 2024, Admiral was inactive and recorded no revenues or expenses. Similarly, for the 6 months ended the 31st of December of 2025 and 2024, Admiral was inactive and recorded no revenues or expenses. Under legal proceedings, Admiral states they were not involved in any new material legal proceedings. Risk factors are marked as not applicable, which makes sense for an inactive company. Unregistered sales of equity securities and use of proceeds is also not applicable. And defaults upon senior securities are also not applicable. Mine safety disclosures is irrelevant here. Other information covers things like Rule 10b 5-to-1 plans, but nothing notable happened here. And finally, exhibits lists all the supporting documents. So what is the story here? Admiral Financial Corp is essentially a company in hibernation. They are inactive, have no revenue, no expenses, and no cash. Their balance sheet shows a deficit, meaning what they owe is more than what they own. Management's sole focus is on finding a new business to merge with or acquire, a process they call a recapitalization. They are seeking opportunities with growth potential to essentially restart the company. The numbers reflect this pause in operations perfectly, showing zeros across the board for income, expenses, and cash flow. The lack of compensation for executives also underscores the situation possibly being driven by a belief in future value creation rather than present operational rewards. Now, looking at this filing more broadly, Admiral Financial Corp is in a very unique position. They are not operating a business in the traditional sense, but rather holding a corporate shell with the explicit intention of facilitating a future business combination. This is a strategy some companies employ when they have net operating losses or a stock that can be used as currency for acquisitions. The key risk here, as they themselves point out, is their ability to actually find a suitable merger partner or acquisition target. Without a successful recapitalization, they risk depleting their minimal cash reserves and possibly ceasing operations altogether. The current financial statements are essentially a blank slate showing no signs of business activity, which is both the core of their current situation and the primary driver of their future uncertainty. They are a bet on future potential, not on current performance. Alright, that is our breakdown of Admiral Financial Corp's latest filing. What is your take on this company in waiting strategy, and what does it signal for the future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives directly from the source. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description to continue the conversation. Thanks for watching, see you next time.